We enter this world with zero possessions, no money, no status, no followers, and absolutely no reputation. And one day, regardless of how much wealth we accumulate, we leave exactly the same way. None of it comes with us. We spend decades of our lives stressing over the acquisition of resources, fighting to add numbers to a ledger. Yet the mortality rate of those possessions is 100%. The timeline of human ownership is strictly temporary. We occupy these spaces and hold these objects for a brief window before they return. Society encourages us to measure a successful life by the accumulation of property. We are taught that a massive estate represents the ultimate scorecard, but the items you cherish right now will eventually be sold off, discarded, or passed into the hands of a complete stranger. Even the grandest spaces, built as heavy stone monuments to personal success, return to dust the moment their owners are gone. History remembers very few people for the size of their bank accounts or the number of property deeds they held in a vault. We act as temporary custodians for these objects. Once the owner is gone, the space and the things inside wait for the next person. If life begins and ends at zero, it raises a difficult question. Why do we dedicate the entirety of our middle years to the stressful pursuit of more? The cultural narrative promises that if we secure a higher status, a more expensive car, and a continuous stream of promotions, total fulfillment will follow. The logic fails when we mistake the tool for the destination. Focusing exclusively on the tools of survival ensures we will work forever without ever resting. A hammer is highly effective at building a house, but it is a tragedy to spend your entire life hoarding hammers without ever stopping to build a home. Spending decades accumulating a single tool without a clear plan for its actual use is a common, quiet tragedy. Stepping off this cultural treadmill feels nearly impossible for most families today because of severe, invisible economic forces. Inflation silently erases the purchasing power of daily wages, while the cost of housing soars out of reach. A brief look at the cost of basic survival items from decades past reveals a sharp contrast with the heavy financial burden placed on families right now. While total national wealth is high, individual families face a widening gap between what they earn and what life costs. The steep line represents the rapidly rising cost of living, while the flatter line shows average wages over the same period. This widening gap forces everyday people into debt just to participate in modern society, increasing the background anxiety of daily life. Financial security and the ability to provide for a family are essential, but the economic system is designed to keep you chasing the next tier of accumulation indefinitely. A game measured strictly by financial gain is a statistical trap. It forces us to seek out a different way to evaluate our time. When money is placed back in its role as a simple tool, the actual purpose of a human life becomes clear. This explains why an individual who possesses every material luxury can still feel hollow, while someone with very little can experience complete fulfillment. There is a hidden ledger of human wealth built on personal integrity, finding joy in ordinary moments, and maintaining deep connections that survive for decades. At the very end of life, the priorities instantly realign. People on their deathbeds consistently say they would trade every dollar they ever earned for just a little more time or a little more health. Time passes regardless of our bank balances. It is the one currency that can never be bought, paused, or earned back once it is spent. Real wealth is the depth of meaning found within the limited time we are given. What actually survives a human lifespan are the consequences of how we lived, the good we did, the harm we caused, and the example we set. No one alive knows the exact bank balance of their great-grandfather, but they remember if he was honest, if he was kind, and if he left his corner of the world better than he found it. Human actions compound in ways money cannot. A parent shapes generations that have not yet been born. A single teacher influences thousands of lives without ever meeting the people their students go on to help. This creates an invisible, expanding legacy. It is a form of wealth that pushes outward, outlasting the individual who started the motion. We enter this world with nothing, and we leave with nothing. The brief space between those two moments is our only opportunity to build something that endures. The final value of a life rests in the impact left on others.